Dark City, along with The Matrix, The 13th Floor, Existence, and Strange Days, has one of the masterpieces of the science fiction that see a technophobic vision of the end of the century. How do you explain that common feeling for the late 90s? Do you think that some of those years have been fulfilled? Too long.
Have they been fulfilled? The films have been fulfilled in terms of reality. Yeah, I think we're living in that world in many ways, aren't we? I think we're living in a very strange world. I feel like the films weren't responsible though. I think that 9/11 created a strange rift in reality, you know, and I think that and I know that was a very specific event in America, but I think it really affected the way we look at visuals, the way we look at imagery. So many people, when 9/11 happened, every single person would say, it looks like a Hollywood movie, right? And it's like, no, it's reality. It's not a Hollywood movie, but already we were starting to think that way. People were starting to think that way. And now social media has made us even more insane, you know? And I think it's created a false sense of reality. Everyone can have their own reality now. Every single individual can live in their own bubble of reality, you know, and social media facilitates that. Now, in 1990, whenever it was when I wrote Dark City, I couldn't have possibly imagined that, you know, but I really think that's where we are, and I see it going more extreme, getting more and more developed in that respect, you know. So yeah, I guess the films were prophetic in some ways, you know.
So you started a career with music videos and TV commercial, but all you ever wanted was to make movies.
Sure.
So did you use them for as a form of experimentation or to try different styles?
It was like film school, you know. But I feel like I haven't made a music video or a commercial now for 25 years, so I feel like I'll be on my deathbed and someone will say, did you get a lot out of making music videos? I'm like, you know, I've sort of moved away from music videos. You know, I actually wouldn't mind going back and doing another one, but I haven't made one for a long time. It was the only sort of filmmaking I could do in Australia when I was in my 20s. You know, I came out of film school and there was nothing else you could do there. Either you pack your bags and go to Los Angeles, which I did eventually. I did do that too. But there was no other alternative to making, you know, earning a living. And not that we earned a living, we made some money, enough to keep the wolves from the door, but it was a way of learning your craft, developing your craft, you know. But I really wanted to make movies, you know.
When you arrived in the US, I think it was not so easy and fast to make movies. So do you remember when you realized, the moment when you realized your dreams were becoming true?
Well, of course, I went to Los Angeles with commercials and music videos. I made a music video, a specific one in Australia for a band called Crowded House. And it became very successful. The song became very successful. The band became very successful. And that got me to Los Angeles. I wasn't going there thinking I was going to make movies because I thought that was a long way away still, you know. But when I got to Los Angeles, I discovered that there was none of the... they weren't pretentious, they weren't snobs. The people making films in Los Angeles were looking for new, young, exciting filmmakers, you know. And they were looking specifically at people like me, who were making commercials and music videos as the new breed of Hollywood filmmakers. And lo and behold, I became one of those people. You know, there were many others. I worked with a company called Propaganda Films in that period of time, and through Propaganda Films there were, you know, like David Fincher came out of there, and Michael Bay, and many other filmmakers.
Ridley Scott?
What's that?
Ridley Scott?
No, Ridley had his own company, but yeah, he came out of commercials. Ridley's an older generation. Me and David and Michael, we're in a slightly younger. Ridley's.
I mean, coming from
Ridley's over the hill
from the
now,
advertising.
Yeah, he came. He was really the originator, but he didn't do videos. He was just commercials. The guys I'm talking about, we all did music videos. That was our main and we did commercials as well.
Do you want? I can hold it for you because. What?
Thank you. Yeah, I don't want to put her on the ground. It's disrespectful.
Thank you. Okay, one more. About Dark City, Lev Dobbs had previously written Kafka, which shares certain visual and plot points with Dark City. How much of Kafka's script is in Dark City, and how much of Kafka's existentialism is in the philosophical concept of the film?
Are you talking about Kafka, the Soderbergh movie?
The movie, no?
Yeah. The movie? No, there's nothing to do with Dark City. The only reason, well, I don't remember the film, so maybe there's more than I remember, but Lem Dobbs, who co-wrote Dark City, wrote the Kafka script, but I didn't hire him for that reason. So I don't know. You tell me if you think there's something similar, but
there are a lot of experience with people trying to understand them better and using technology for that.
Okay. Well, that's not unique to Kafka. It's not unique to Dark City either. But no, I mean, I'm very open about my influences, but Kafka, the movie Kafka was not one of them. But I'm very, the influences for Dark City were more Metropolis, Ouija photographs. Trying to remember now, I can't remember. But I know there are Akira, the anime, Ghost in the Shell. I don't know, but not Kafka.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
The Crow is one of my favorite movies ever.
Oh, thank you.
It marked my childhood. And do you remember how did it come about? The original idea. I read you wrote the script.
Yeah, I didn't personally. Well, I had something to do with it, but I was sent the script. This is when I first went to Hollywood, and I was doing commercials, and I went and met all the producers, and I got offered things like Nightmare on Elm Street and Number 5 or whatever it was. I can't remember what it was, and I got offered stuff like that, and I didn't really want to do those things even then. And then this script came along for The Crow and the comic book as well, So I flicked through the comic book and I thought, well, this is really interesting. The comic book I thought was great, and I read the script and I didn't like the script at all. And I thought the comic book was really great, So I said to the producer, can we rewrite the script but make it more like the comic and less like the script that we've got? And they said, yeah, sure, fine. So David Scow, who co-wrote the script, got involved at that stage, and we basically completely rewrote it. He did all the writing. I didn't take any credit for the script, but I was very involved with the writing. David we'd hang out together in my flat in apartment in LA, and he'd write. I'd give him ideas, and he'd do all the writing. He'd say, "What do you think of this?" And I'd say, "Great" or "Terrible" or whatever. So it was collaborative in that respect. But I didn't take any. I'm not taking any credit for the script.
The last one, because we don't have more time.
Yeah.
And Gods of Egypt was a victim of two plagues that now corrupt Hollywood: the need for producers to force humor on blockbusters, and the anger of the social justice warriors.
Yes.
How did this affect you personally, and how do you feel about both issues?
I was traumatized by it. I found it, after you make a movie for 3 years, and it was so cruelly treated, it's a terrible feeling. It's like they're talking about your children that way, And it was a lie. It's just a lie, I mean, I'm Egyptian. I was born in Egypt. And there's a political correct attitude in America right now which says that they believe that ancient Egypt was black African, So this is not true, right? And it's been proven it's not true. And in fact, the people in Egypt now, the Arabs, are not... I'm Greek. My ancestry is Greek Egyptian, but we go back to Alexander the Great. So we've actually been there longer than the Arabs who are there now. Which is neither here nor there. The movie is a fantasy, and to be punished for not being falsely, politically correctly, historically accurate is madness. It's absolute insanity, you know. And this, of course, took me by surprise, but it shouldn't have, in a way, because this is America in the early days of the president they now have, who was an absolute response. The reason that he's in power is a direct response to this politically correct madness that's overtaken America, right?
Sorry,
and
by the
American
way.
media. Well, thank you, thank you. So yeah, it was a shock, a complete shock. And the worst part of it was that the studio used my film as a sacrificial lamb, right? They were so scared of this backlash of being called racist. They were so terrified that they issued an apology, right? And I said, guys, you are insane. Do not do this. This is going to destroy the film. Because as soon as you apologise for something, people go, well, there's something wrong with it, you know. So then everyone attacked us at that point, you know. So anyway, it's madness. It's insanity. I can't describe it in any other way. You know?